Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the MASONRY STRONG Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Pat Sauter. Pat, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, I'm a third-generation block producer. So my company's King's Material. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and around the state of Iowa. We have 3 block plants. We're also in the ready-mix business. Do a little bit of some minor precast stuff, but construction supply for masonry, landscape contractors, and concrete contractors. And I've been in the business for 17 years. In my family for almost 50 years now, and went to business school. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Worked for a general contractor for a little while after school, and then the masonry industry and the block business is interesting because you get a little bit of everything, right? You get to sell unique products, you get to work with great contractors and build relationships with customers, but it's you also get to be a small part of building cool things. So I like a lot of things about our business.
Nice. Where'd you go to school?
St. Louis University.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And then what about the industry attracted you to it?
I think it's, you get to be a part of building some cool things, right? You're building community spaces or schools and homes, and you're everything from working with people to do product selection on the outside of their dream home to working with architects on, a school or a community building, or there's just such variety to it. And, it's a small enough industry where you can get to know a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And, I'm sure you've met a lot of people here at these CMHA meetings. When did you start attending these?
I've been coming for probably about 12 years. So I was new into a leadership role in our business. And a guy named Mark Wilhelms from St. Louis, used to be with the Midwest Block, now it's part of Best Block. He came up as they were pursuing checkoff, and they were kind of feeling other block producers out to see if they were supportive of checkoff and start educating people about this idea. And he came to meet with me. I didn't know him. We'd been members of NCMA at the time for years, but not really involved. And so I don't know that we were getting a lot out of it. We were just trying to give back to the industry. And so Mark came up and met with me and said, you should really start getting involved, and started coming to a couple meetings. I was fortunate enough to join the board and then go through leadership roles, and got to actually chair the NCMA board in 2016 or 2017, and been involved ever since.
Nice. What are some ways that you've seen the CMHA meetings, kind of give back to the community? What are some things that have come out of these meetings where you're like, this will really help the community and the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the education for producers, team members, I think is one of the biggest areas. You come and learn about our products and ways to be more effective at promoting our products, and then a lot of the research that goes in to help people understand how to design with our products more efficiently through the NCMA Foundation and through staff research and partner research has made a big impact in making sure our products are competitive and understood by designers and still taught at the university level.
Awesome. And I remember talking to a couple salesmen in the industry, and they talk about it not as if it's a competitive industry, but it's that they're all working together to do go towards the same goal.
Yeah.
Do you feel that same way as well? Like these people from other companies aren't really your competitors, but more people you can learn from and build relationships with.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we all want to try and win every job, but it's more important that we're growing the amount of masonry used on projects, right? And so if we can work together to help people understand that we've got the best products, it's the most resilient, they're cost effective, they're sustainable, the speed of construction is incredible. If we can help people understand that, then there's more for everybody. So yeah, I think almost every producer you talk to is willing to work together to try and help move the industry forward.
Nice. And from your perspective, what are some of your favorite things that you've seen, come out of the change in the industry over time?
I think there's a lot of things that have changed in just the 12 or so years that I've been involved, but the young professionals, or now emerging professionals group, there's a lot of energy there. There's a lot of the classes and the different meetups that they put together. It's just so helpful to get young people to stay in our industry and excited about the opportunities that are in our industry. I think is a great change. There's a lot of things around government affairs that we're starting to see some new investment and some excitement around to really help our elected officials understand how important it is to build with durable building materials and what resiliency really should mean. And so I think there's a lot of progress going on there. I think in general, just the industry is working closer together than ever it has before. I think checkoff was a great catalyst for that to help people really all come to the table, contractors, producers, suppliers, to work together.
Yeah. And sustainability and resiliency is a huge topic in this industry.
Yep.
What are some things that you've seen, from the time you started to now, like change in especially like the block industry when it
Yeah.
comes to resiliency and sustainability?
Yeah, I think, the research we've done on carbon sequestration and understanding that, cement-based products get kind of a bad rap because of the cement in it, but understanding that our products actually sequester carbon over time, and the impact is really on par with other building materials, and over time it's actually a lot better because our products last a lot longer and can be recycled at the end of life. And so there's a much better story, and I think we're helping to actually tell that story ourselves instead of letting our competitors maybe greenwash some of their products a little more than maybe they had in the past.
Awesome, nice. Stepping away from the industry a little bit, tell me a little about, what you like to do outside of the industry and work, any hobbies or interests that you're
Yeah.
into.
So my wife and I have 3 young boys. They're 9, 5, and 4. So,
wow.
that takes up an awful lot of our time, right? It's
Yeah.
just, I joke that I should be probably putting on a striped shirt and a whistle when I walk into the house at night, just refereeing the chaos sometimes. But, they're involved in lots of stuff. It's just a blast to watch them grow. And I like to play golf. I like to travel and go to concerts and that sort of stuff when we have time as well. But chasing 3 kids is the vast majority of my time outside of work.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite concerts you've been to?
We like going to Summerfest in Milwaukee.
Oh, nice.
So we've seen a lot of people there. We just took our 2 oldest boys to Imagine Dragons at Red Rocks this last fall. It was their first concert. We went a little over the top for their first concert at Red Rocks, but it was a great time. My 5-year-old fell asleep halfway through the concert, but it's a great place for a nap too for kids.
Very nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite things to do in Iowa? I'm not personally from Iowa,
Yeah.
but I'm curious.
Iowa's a great Midwestern state, so you can do all sorts of stuff. We like to go out to eat. We like to hike. We like to play golf. And then travel away from the Midwest in the winter to somewhere warmer is a nice thing to do too. But I think Iowa's like a lot of the middle part of the country where there's all sorts of fun stuff to do.
Awesome. And just kind of going back to the industry, with these meetings and all the people you've met, what are some of the things that you hope to come out of them in the future, like in your eyes, for this industry that you hope happens in the future?
I think the industry telling our story more kind of together in a way that's not always as technical, right? We need to be able to take our research and the technical work behind the scenes and package it in a way that designers and construction managers actually understand of why should they consider concrete masonry. And we're competitive, we're resilient, we're faster than a lot of other systems, but we don't always talk about that in a way that non-engineers can understand. And so I think we're making some progress with that, and some of the checkoff efforts around marketing are really starting to help make some progress there. So I think that in the short term, I think that that's going to have an impact. Longer term, I think we've got a lot of work to do on building codes. It's kind of an area that gets a little complex, and people don't always like to see investment there because they don't understand the process. But that's really where a lot of, I think, our progress can be moved forward, is at the building code level, to make it more of a level playing field for our products.
Why do you think people don't fully understand codes and don't really maybe want to invest a lot of time into understanding codes as much?
Yeah, and I'm certainly not an expert either. I just know enough that I know it's important, and I know that we've got great people that are spending time there and are experts in it. But it's just such a kind of a complex process, right? They work through code hearings, and then different municipalities and states adopt them over time, and so it's hard to really see a direct impact from, we spent this time here, we did this research project on this thing, and then down the road it gets implemented here, and this is how it actually shows up in my community when it comes to a project that I can actually sell. There's sometimes a pretty big disconnect there. And so it's a little confusing. And like I said, I'm not an expert either, but I'm glad we've got people that are.
Yeah, awesome. And you were just at a marketing meeting as far
Yep.
as, for the CMHA meetings before this. So tell me, you don't have to tell me a little bit about, the meeting, whatever, but just from your perspective when it comes to marketing, what are some things that you think the industry could be doing to further expand whether it be audience, their workers, whether it be the next generation? What are some
Yeah.
marketing things that you think could be implemented?
Yeah, we're starting to implement a lot of things around to the architecture and engineering community, and whether it's around carbon sequestration or efficient design and that sort of thing. So there's some really good stuff going on there. You just touched on to the next generation of people coming into the masonry industry, whether it's in the field or in the plants. And that's an area I think we've got some work to do to help people understand that there's great careers, whether you want to be out in the field building something with your hands, or you want to be in a plant making products with, modern equipment, or selling products and working with architects and engineers. There's lots of great opportunities to get involved in our industry, and I don't think we've probably done enough to help students today see that. I think we're starting to try, and we're starting to see some areas that maybe there's opportunities, but there's a lot to do there.
Yeah. And then I know you might not be fully in and involved with, recruiting processes or anything like that, but is there anything that you've seen positive change wise as far as, new recruitment strategies, or, maybe I've heard, a lot of new programs going to high schools and stuff like that. Can you talk about anything about that?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people trying a lot of different things to see, okay, who should we be talking to, and what's the message that they should want to hear. And I just heard a story this morning about a producer in the Southwest that went to a high school student day and had 1,000-something students, and showing off how to actually lay brick and block. And they had a mold from a block machine and how they work on molds and what's involved with that, and maintaining our equipment so that the products are correct. And she said lots of people left with wanting to take products home and wanting to talk more about careers. And one of the students got hired directly by a contractor right out of that. So I think there's neat things going on, and we just need to be doing that around the country all the time.
Yeah. And with the new innovations in the industry, like you were talking about a lot with block, there are a lot of new innovations with it. Do you find it easy to kind of keep up with those changes as fast as they come, or is because it's a lot of changes coming pretty fast.
Yeah, for sure. I think it really helps to come to meetings and to come to things like the precast show or Roll of Concrete. It's hard to keep up with that stuff just with email blasts or social media or that sort of stuff, or relying on vendors that might come through our locations to tell you. It really helps to show up and to be in the meetings and to listen and walk the trade show floors and that sort of stuff is the best way I've found to keep up with it. And then you build a network of peers and friends, and I've got a great group of friends and contacts from the industry, and that we're talking all the time about, hey, what's working for you? And have you seen this new thing? Have you tried this yet? And so we're all learning together and sharing those ideas.
Have you worked in any other industry, or just this one?
Pretty much this one. I worked with a general contractor for a while. I loved that side of it, but I fairly quickly, we had my predecessor that ran a block side of our business was with our family for over 30 years, and he approached me fairly quickly and said, hey, I want to retire in a couple of years, so if you're going to come in, now's the time. And so I was pretty glad to get drug back into this industry fairly quickly, and so, I've got a fairly narrow experience field there.
Nice. And how easy was it for you to kind of transition from that industry to this one? Did you, kind of latch onto it right away, or was it something that kind of snowballed eventually?
Yeah, I think I started working a sales counter in our company, and just that was really helpful just to learn our products. And, I learned a lot just from our customers and asking, masons would come in and, okay, what are you using this product for? Tell me why you like this trowel versus that trowel, or why do you, that sort of thing. And people are proud of their craft. And so that was really helpful for me to understand, why certain things are important and how to provide good customer service, and, how we can keep people moving quickly on the job sites.
Yeah. And, there's always an art to selling a certain thing in every single industry.
Yep.
Have you do you think you discovered the art to selling block in this industry?
I think we've got some pretty good people that
Yeah.
are better at it than I am.
Okay.
It's really just, it's all a people business, right? And we're just trying to solve somebody else's challenges. And so if we can keep people, and for the mason contractors, it's keeping them moving. We never want to be the reason that we delay a project. And so trying to be as proactive and a great communicator and a good listener, I think is really one of the keys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And moving forward, where do you hope your career kind of goes? Do you have a plan for it, or are you just kind of going wherever the wind takes you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to stay in our industry. Like I said, we're a family business, and I'm third generation, so statistically, I'm supposed to screw it up, right? 90-something% chance that it doesn't make it to fourth generation, and I don't know if my boys would have any interest in it or not. A little early to tell, but maybe there's something there. I'd like to see our industry grow and have lots of opportunities for the next generation, and I'd like to see mason contractors and block producers. I'd like to see more of those companies, right? We've been on a trend of consolidation. There's not a lot of new producers entering our industry in the United States, and I'd like to see that trend change. Hopefully there's so much market growth that there's people that say, wow, I really want to get into this business.
Mm-hmm. What are some things that you think, can really attract, but not even just the next generation, but just people who are, whether it be coming from a general contracting industry? What do you think are some things that, attracted you that can also attract other people?
Yeah, I think there's just such a diversity in our industry, right? There's modern manufacturing, there's distribution and transportation logistics, there's sales and architectural sales, there's contractor sales. There's so many opportunities out in the field, and you're building all sorts of different types of things, whether it's single family homes to, multifamily and K through 12. There's just so many different types of projects you can get involved with. That's what I like, is that it's different every day, right? There's new challenges all the time, and we're selling something you can actually see the results of. We're not selling a financial product or some insurance policy. We're selling buildings that you can walk through and that keep people safe. And I think that's fulfilling to be part of that.
Yeah. Do you keep up to date with a lot of the safety stuff like that? I don't know if you have to do that as far as sales wise, but I'm sure it's something you definitely have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in our plants, in our distribution yards, we've got a lot of professional truck drivers, and safety is first and foremost. We want everybody to go home at least as good as they showed up in the morning, if not better. And so safety is important, I think, for all parts of the construction industry and for manufacturers as well.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
And with CMU and stuff like that comes a lot of there's silica safety as well, because with cutting it. Do you kind of partner sell with other companies like that who specialize in safety with silica or any kind of CMU products?
Yep, there's a lot of good companies out there that have contractors deal with that and be efficient, and so we don't partner directly with them because there's a few different companies out there doing a really nice job with that, and we're cheering them on all the way.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Pat, I appreciate you taking the time to be here today.
Yeah,
and it was awesome to talk to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.